become the thing. The thing done become the thing. The thing done become the thing. The thing done become the thing.
Hello everyone and welcome to Doing Art episode 5. This episode is with actor Ruffin Prentiss III. I have a lot to say about this particular episode. But first, I'd like to thank everyone who has written me about the podcast. I try to reply everyone, but I'm planning to devote a whole episode to reading and answering listeners' questions. You know what to do. Subscribe to the show and rate it on iTunes. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My handle is Lorens on both of them. And also try and visit the website for the podcast, doingart.net, where you can learn more about each of our guests so far. The guest for this episode is Ruffin Prentiss III. Ruffin is an actor. He has been on several TV shows, including The Mysteries of Laura on NBC, Madam Secretary on CBS, and a few others. He has also been on a few short movies, including Orange Bright and Recursion. If you visit the website to the podcast, doingart.net, you will find links to some of the works that Ruffin has done. Ruffin is classically trained as an actor. As a matter of fact, he has an MFA, so he is also very active in theater and also in community development of up and coming actors, younger actors. As you will learn from our conversation, Ruffin and I both went to the University of Pittsburgh, but weird enough, we never got to talk to each other there, even though we're there at the same time. I really enjoyed this conversation because he was very forthcoming, he's very intelligent, and it turned out to be very, very educative. Actually, I learned a lot of things. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you with his swagger and coolness, Ruffin Prentiss III. In your face.
My baby. My baby. My baby. My baby. My baby. My baby. Suddenly, life has more meaning.
Ruffin Prentiss, welcome to my show. Welcome to Doing Art.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. First of all, thank you for doing this because I know you have a lot of commitments. So we were supposed to do it yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. And you had, was it a reading or a rehearsal or both of them?
Yeah, it was there's this company called Young Playwrights Incorporated.
Oh, okay.
And it's a really cool program. It's a theater company that's dedicated to the works, the plays of students 18 and younger only. That's
nice.
all that they do.
It's amazing.
So yesterday we worked on 2 of their senior students.
Amazing.
They both wrote full-length plays, and they bring in professional actors to read them for the students.
Wow.
So we got to perform both of those last night. It was a lot of fun. Great actors. All of their classmates and friends were there to cheer them on. And there's nothing like seeing like a high school student.
Yeah, I like that.
Be excited to see their stuff be read and come to life.
Yeah. Oh, is this the first time you're doing this? Because I remember reading on your Facebook status one day you were inviting people to a reading. I think it was around 59th Street, Columbus.
That might have been something. Readings, as far as for actors, they happen. Okay. Hopefully, they have to happen a lot. But, a lot of people are just trying to hear their play read for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Or it's like a public presentation to see how the public will respond to it. So,
and when you say reading, because when somebody says reading, I'm usually confused. I'm usually thinking, is it just a reading, a presentation, or is it a reading for an audition?
Oh, no, it's just a reading presentation.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, no audition.
Okay, great.
I said yesterday, I hadn't even seen the script when we sat down to rehearse it.
Oh.
So we read it cold.
Wow.
Yeah, we just read through it, and the director, who is a brilliant guy, his name's Christopher, And he after we read the first one, he was like, "Did you guys get this script ahead of time?" Because it really, we impress ourselves sometimes. Like, oh, we do know what we're doing.
Are there people who are more prone to be able to cold read than others?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that has to do with maybe like how much you enjoy reading. Because I've done one audiobook, and that's a tough gig. For me at least. I wasn't as a young kid, I wasn't much of a reader, and as I got older and more curious about things, I read more. But I was always trying to find my way not to read. But I think that factors into how well people do with cold reading.
I see.
And then, but practice, like the more you do it, the more confident you get in being able to just look at it and
just deliver.
Yeah, and just do it.
Would you compare cold reading to like freestyle in rap? No,
I would not.
No, okay.
They're very different. Like when I was in grad school, me and a couple of the other guys, we used to freestyle just like for fun.
Oh,
because it's a way to stay impulsive and just let whatever's flowing come off the top of your head. But with cold reading, you kind of understand the human condition basically, and so as you read and as someone, whatever you say, like even in this moment, when you say something to me, I'm listening and I know how to respond.
Okay.
And so like because even though you're cold reading, if you're actually listening, it makes the moments happen by themselves.
I see. Oh, that makes sense. Now we're gonna go back to the beginning. Okay. So
Cool.
where are you from? Where were you born?
I was born in Pittsburgh, Virginia.
Okay.
But raised my whole life, well, at least through 18, in Richmond, Virginia.
I see. So you're like a Virginia kid.
Born and raised. That's home.
All right.
All day.
I'm going to say this, forgive me, but I'm going to say this. Whenever I think of Virginia, I think of a place that's kind of southern, but not south. And whenever I think of a black person from Virginia, I think of somebody who goes to church a lot. And it's like...
Interesting.
And it's... when I think of the church, I think of like a small white church. Like color purple style kind of church.
Oh, okay. But I thought you were saying like, because I am black.
Okay.
I thought you were saying like a white church, like not the color of the church.
I get
what you're
small,
saying.
small white church, small white house. Are those prevalent in Virginia?
I mean,
it's like a random dumb question, so you don't have to answer that.
Well, no, it's not. It's not a dumb question at all. I don't know if they're prevalent, but where my family's from is a small area called Charles City County.
Oh, okay.
It's very rural.
I see.
Very country. Growing up there, I would have still called it country, but now living in New York, I know how country it is. It's polar opposites.
Yeah.
But my grandmother's church is one of those small churches. Now they, and even my church growing up, it's St. James Baptist Church. I did go to church all the time, so you're right about that.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But it started off as a small church, and what's cool about my church is you can literally look at the buildings and see them get newer. They build attachments as the congregation gets bigger. So it started off as one of these little small churches that you're talking about, and now it's like got solid 3 or 4 buildings attached to it.
That's really cool.
Multi-purpose building. They have functions there, so things expand and grow as technology does. And
Okay, let's talk a little bit about church. Still, I have this stereotype about those small churches because I feel like people participate in those kind of small churches, small buildings. Like everybody sing, almost everybody knows the song, and I feel like there's more presence of God there. As opposed to the big churches where you just attend, some people are there to show off certain things or to just be present in the society they feel like they should belong to. Do you feel some kind of difference between differently when you are home at church or maybe at your grandmother's church as opposed to maybe a church in New York City, for instance?
Well, I do go to a church here. I'm not a member there, but I really like it. It's here in Harlem.
Okay.
And it's a big church.
All right.
But I've gone to a couple of big churches here. I think you can go to any church, and there's either something that makes you feel at home or makes you feel at peace.
I see.
And understanding of the people around you. I don't know if I can explain it. Maybe you can call it the Holy Ghost or the Spirit. I don't know. But there's something that kind of speaks to you that says, hey, this place is all right.
Yes.
But and that's in a small church, a big church. So I think it's more so about the environment, the energy that you get from it. But there's all, in the same way, like when I go to my church at home, that's my village. Like, because it was a smaller community, each one of these people raised me. Wow. And when I go back and I see somebody new, I'm like, I have to go figure out who that is because I don't know them.
Yes, exactly.
You're a new person in this environment. But when I go to a church here, they have 3 services and all the services are full. So it's pretty amazing to see how many people come to one place, and it's a different feeling. But I think ultimately, the difference is in the energy that you get from the church.
True, definitely. Yeah. Okay. Do you remember Petersburg? You said Petersburg in Virginia.
Oh, Petersburg.
Yeah, Petersburg. Yeah.
Well, Petersburg is just where I was born.
Okay. How old were you again when you moved to Richmond?
Well, this is what I'm saying. Petersburg is the hospital I was born in.
Oh,
but
I'm sorry.
I like the house. That we came like straight from the hospital to, is in Richmond.
Is in Richmond.
Yeah.
Okay.
I literally was born in Petersburg. I have always lived in Richmond. Yeah.
I actually applied to a university, thinking back now, called Richmond University.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, but I didn't go there. I went to Duquesne. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, you're Ruffin Prentiss III.
I am the third, yes.
So,
yes.
I'm assuming your dad is the second?
He's a junior, and his father was the senior. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, do you want to talk a little bit about your family? What does I'm assuming 2-parent home, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does your dad do?
Well, both of my parents now are retired.
Okay.
Which is a blessing for them. You know, my dad worked at Philip Morris. He was a mechanic for the machines there.
Nice.
And my mom, I can never explain what she did. She worked for financial. I don't even know what it's called. A financial corporation. It was called Land America Financial Corporation. I think they dealt with real estate titles. And so she worked there for a long time, and then that company went under. And ever since, she's been retired too. So both my parents kind of just hang out, and which is wonderful because when I have something going on, they just hop on the road and come see it wherever I'm at.
That's great. To get that support.
The most support.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question that I hope you understand this question. Since we are talking about your parents, this is something I usually wonder because like when you come from a home where the parents put a lot of effort into raising you and maybe sometimes are strict about raising you, and they just like for lack of a better word, a good family. If you come from that kind of family, you're kind of built to look at your parents as this semi-gods, like really respect them and just believe that they never make mistakes. They're almost not humans. Like you just like when you're younger, at least for me and a lot of other people I've talked to, I come from a family that were strict and were very strict about education. But I remember just seeing my parents as these people who don't make mistakes. And then when I'm grown now, I see them as humans, and I realize that okay, they made some mistakes, and it kind of led me to appreciate their struggle more and actually maybe forgive them about certain things I might have been angry about. So what I'm getting to is this. When did you when did they turn around for you to start looking at your parents as these people that, oh, I really have to care for? Do you understand my question?
Well, I absolutely get you.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, for a long time, they were, it seemed like superhuman.
Exactly.
Or, like
that's a better word. Yeah.
They just held a presence. And, I was raised in a house where, and I value and respect and love my parents to the nth degree.
Yeah.
And because of that, for me, it wasn't until I got out of the house, which was really going to Pittsburgh and, having my own freedom, getting to, a degree of freedom where you're living on your own, doing your own laundry, like all that stuff, it's all yours. You start kind of figuring out how to do your own thing.
Yeah.
And from that, you start thinking about past things that have happened with your parents. And, we're all human.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it kind of hits you like, like they went to college too.
Yes.
And, they have been married for, I think my parents have been married for something like 36 years.
Wow.
Which is a true blessing.
That's a long time.
And doesn't happen,
It
a lot these days.
Yes. Especially in this country.
Yeah, especially in this country.
Yeah.
But but they're human. They have a relationship just like any other relationship, which is full of ups and downs, and but they've stuck it out, and I just respect them so much for that.
That's cool. That's cool. All right, now let's talk about your first acting experience. The very first, like your first acting gig. Like your first,
are we talking about professional, like where I got paid?
Professional. Okay. The first
acting
thing that you ever did.
The first one that I can remember is, and the only reason why I remember this is because my mom made the costume herself. She made it by hand. We were doing a play in elementary school. I don't know what the play. I feel like it was Christmas themed. I'm pretty sure it was Christmas themed, and I might have been in first grade. And I was a giraffe.
Oh.
My mom made me a giraffe costume.
Wow, she made it.
She made it.
See,
that's pretty miraculous.
Yeah.
She's superhuman.
That's
right?
the thing I'm talking about,
And this is the funny thing we were talking earlier about, the degrees that we both had.
Yeah.
And my mom also had a degree. Her degree was in math.
Oh, wow.
From Virginia State University.
Oh,
and so, she got a degree in math, but she's sewing me a giraffe. It's just pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Like, what can't you do?
Yeah.
So
that's mathematicians. We do everything.
I guess so. You know how to put all the numbers together and figure it out.
Everything together. Yeah.
It's all the equation. Cool. That's right.
Yeah. So, how was the experience? Like, do you remember?
Well,
what went down.
I was a big ham. Growing up, like I love the attention.
I see.
There are like home videos of me. My brother's 3 years younger than me, and so when he was born, like a baby, they would have the video going, but I just had to have all the attention. I couldn't. So I've always been that way, and anytime you put me in front of an audience, I was soaking it in and really trying to make the most. I don't even know if I had any words, any lines in that play, but I was a giraffe. Wow. So I'm sure I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Now, so that was maybe that was prior to elementary school, or was that in elementary school?
During
elementary school.
Yeah.
Okay. So when did you continue acting? Did you do stuff in high school and maybe junior high?
High school. I was always in the drama club.
Yeah.
But I love sports.
Okay.
I love
football.
Basketball was my first love. My dad played basketball.
I see.
And I played basketball and baseball most of my life.
Oh.
And so that was my focus.
Yeah.
For a while, my dad's a lot taller than I am. My mom she's a lot shorter than I am. So I ended up right in the middle.
I see.
But I always thought I was going to be closer to my dad's height. So I was like, I'm going to go to the NBA. Yeah. This is my life. Yeah. So I was really focused on, of course, my academics. I was in a great program called the International Baccalaureate Program.
Whoa, that's fancy.
It is kind of fancy. I recommend it to any student out there because it really prepared me for college and got me great scholarship offers.
Was the program intensive? Like
it is, and it's it's a program that's throughout the world instead of the United States.
Okay.
And it's based on a criteria, and you get your own set of grades from that. So I have an IB diploma from high school.
Okay.
I have an advanced diploma from the county.
Okay.
And then a standard diploma.
We
also.
had something called the London GCE back in Nigeria, it's I took one of the exams, but I never pursued it. Yeah. Oh, okay. So what I'm getting from you is that you didn't think of this career while you were in high school?
No, I remember my senior year, I decided to do, they have this one act play festival.
Okay.
And I decided to be in one of the plays. And the night of the competition, I was going to start for the basketball team.
Okay.
We had a game that night. And that was the first time that I chose a theater thing over a sports thing.
Now, I want to ask why.
Well, there was a grade riding on it. One.
Okay. Grade. Okay.
Because it was in conjunction with the drama, I guess, the drama section of the IB, the International Baccalaureate Standards, what you needed to do to complete that.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, the coach was mad. I see. But we won the competition. Okay. Which was really cool.
Yeah. You kind of just destroyed my assertion. I have this theory that most of the guys that go to theaters, it's usually because of a girl.
Well, that's actually
always a girl that
a lot of
that they follow to.
I can't remember. There's some famous. I don't want to say the wrong name because then I will sound silly. But I remember listening to an interview and somebody was like, "I just went over there because the girls were there." Girls. Right? There's a girl I like who was doing the play. And then I just happened to be good at it. No, that's not. Actually, I didn't come to it till Pitt, till undergrad.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Let's talk about Pitt.
Sure.
So, what was your major?
When I got to Pitt, So the reason why I went to Pittsburgh is because they offered me a guarantee to dental school. I was pre-dentistry.
Okay.
So my initial major was I was a chem major, a theater minor. Okay. And I was going to get a certificate in conceptual foundations of medicine.
Wow. So you're a geek, kind of. You're geeky, kind of.
I always enjoyed science. So when I got to, so this is a story of how I came to pre-dentistry. Okay. In 10th grade, I was playing baseball for the high school. I got hit in the mouth with a baseball. Oh. And so I had a lot of dental work done. Yeah. And I was just wondering, why me? I had like chipped tooth for a while because my gums were still swollen, so they couldn't operate on them, I guess. And but once they got fixed, I realized how much a smile means to someone, as far as self-esteem. Yeah. I was like, this is what I want to do for people. I want to help raise people's self-esteem and help them just feel more confident in who they are. And a smile can go a long ways. Pretty teeth can go a long ways. Yes. So that's what I wanted to do. So I went to Pitt to do that. But I knew I was going to be, because I wasn't playing sports anymore. Yes. I knew I wanted to finally give theater a fair shot. Yeah. But yeah, I was going to be a dentist.
Wow. So, let's talk about Pitt. Pitt, because I went to Pitt. Right. Yeah. As I was telling you, but it was different phases of our life. I went to Pitt for grad school. I was there from 2007 to 2014, but I took 2 years off. Yeah. And I knew, even though I was a grad student, I knew a lot of the undergrads, a lot of the black undergrads. So I knew a lot of them. So I remember when I was going to move to New York, and I was asking around if anybody knows any Pitt alumnus who lives in New York. I can't remember who told me. Ruffin probably lives in New York because he's an actor. I'm like, I don't know who Ruffin is. Then I looked on Facebook. I probably have added you on Facebook because when you open Facebook newly, suggest friends for you. Yeah. So that was how we we got connected on Facebook. So I don't even know what we can say about Pitt. I mean, we Hillman Library.
I mean, Hillman, yeah. The Union.
Hemingway.
Hemingway's, Mad Max.
Mad Max, yeah. It turns out there's not a lot of things to do, like in terms of partying. I don't know if...
I mean, there was a lot to do. You just had to. Sometimes you had to travel.
Okay, yeah,
bit,
like that's what I'm saying.
To
in
the
Oakland,
strip or
to the strip or to.
But there were no
to the south side.
Right.
Yeah, south side.
There were no like clubs. Or anything
in
like
Oakland.
that in Oakland.
In Oakland,
but the bars were cool.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Nice.
I had my frat brothers there. I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma.
Oh, okay.
So, like we would throw our own parties or stuff like that, or go to the other Greek functions, which was fun.
That's cool. Yeah. I would say that's one experience I didn't get.
The Greek?
Like I went, I went to Duquesne. It's like almost an all-white school.
Yeah.
We, the black students at Duquesne, we used to say the only good thing about Duquesne is University of Pittsburgh.
What? Well,
yeah, that you wouldn't know how good a place is until you leave. When I left Duquesne, I realized a fantastic school, and I started realizing all the nice experiences I had at Duquesne.
Well, the cool thing about Duquesne is that it's kind of it's its own campus.
Mm-hmm, yes,
whereas like University of Pittsburgh, which I love, but it's kind of integrated into the city, right? Mm-hmm, and so there's not really, while there, when you're in Oakland, you're on campus, but it doesn't feel like its own enclosed space.
Yeah. And I really enjoy that about Duquesne because you could literally wake up maybe 10 minutes before your class and still get to class,
right?
Even if it's across campus, it's quite big of a campus. The campus is quite big, and it's one of the most beautiful campuses I've been to in the U.S. I mean, I went to a school in San Diego. I think it's called University of San Diego. Really beautiful school. But Duquesne is one of the most beautiful campuses I've been to in the U.S. in terms of location, in terms of view. Like it has this really,
it's on the hill,
right?
On
the hill. Yeah, it's like on the 8th floor of the city.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a really cool thing about it. But Pitt, on the other hand, is like scattered all over Oakland. Like I remember one time there's this course I was taking. It's called mathematical biology. It's like a graduate biology class.
Sounds like
and
fun.
It was in the spring semester in January, and I had to. There's this hill that I can't remember the name of the building.
Going up towards the Pete.
Yes, but it's like a chemistry. I can't
Chevron.
remember. Yes, Chevron. How did you?
I was a chem major.
Okay, Chevron building. I
was a chem major until the end of my sophomore year.
Okay. Yeah. And you still remember? I have like the worst memory. Like, so
I spent a lot of time in there.
Yeah, I see.
General chemistry, organic chemistry.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes
all
sense.
Of that was
yeah.
there.
Did you ever take any math courses?
I didn't have to. I placed out because of the IB program.
Okay, great. All right. So because my home department is in Thackeray Hall, as a grad student, you have like an office there, and you take classes. You still take classes, but when you're a TA, you have an office.
Right.
So during that semester, I had just recovered from the flu, and I had to take this course, and I worked there like 2 weeks. I would climb up that hill with all this snow, this slush and everything. I couldn't take it. I just had to drop the course.
Oh, you dropped the course?
I dropped the course. No. I think what happened was that I just realized then that I could drop a course. That was in as an undergrad, I never dropped any course. It wasn't
necessarily.
Yeah, it was a choice for me, but I didn't know coming from Nigeria. I just thought whatever you're giving, you really have to focus and get it done. When I became a grad student, I'm like, I could just drop a course. Anyway, I digress a little bit. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about grad school. So you went to Rutgers.
I went to Rutgers.
Yeah.
Got my master's in acting, my master's of fine arts.
Yeah.
which after I graduated school, I was looking online.
Yeah.
And I think I was just on like, Yahoo or whatever. And they have these news things that come up. And it was like the 10 most useless master's degrees. And I think they said the MFA was like, it was in the top 10. So I was like, of course. But, for me, it was priceless training.
Of course.
I grew up a lot because a lot of our acting training starts with figuring out who you are. And then seeing how many different layers you have in yourself that you don't explore every day. Like exploring your rage, exploring your love, your capacity for all these emotions, and just kind of stretching yourself and seeing how it works out.
Wow.
Yeah.
But when you had a theater minor.
Well, I changed my degree.
Okay. You changed your degree at Pitt.
Sophomore year at Pitt, my second semester, I changed it to, I was going to be a theater, I became a theater major.
Okay.
I was going to be a chem minor.
Oh.
And with a certificate in conceptual foundations of medicine.
Nice.
And then by my senior year, I was a theater major with a certificate.
Okay.
I dropped the minor.
Okay.
Because I figured, my heart was set on when I got to Pitt, my freshman year. Freshman year, spring semester, I did my first show there.
Okay.
And it was what was it? The Real Inspector Hound by Tom Stoppard.
Wow.
And I got to play agent in disguise in a wheelchair as an old man.
Wow.
And from there, it was, I would be sitting in chemistry class like, oh, I want to, can't wait till acting class later today, or, and so after taking bio and physics and chemistry, I just got to a place where I was like, I need to focus myself on what I want to do.
What you really want to do.
But then you start thinking about how can I make this as logical processes as possible. And so then my next thought was, well, I talked to some of my teachers and they said, well, you can go to grad school. And this one allows you to teach at any university because a master's in acting is the terminal degree.
Yes.
And then two, you get to spend 3 years really honing your craft and really understanding your process so that when you come out into the world, you're ready to compete with these people who have been professional actors for years. So that was like the safest route for me to become an actor. So I got to Rutgers. Rutgers at the time was a top 5 program in the country. They had, the faculty is still wonderful. The program's changing a lot. It's got a new chair with wonderful ideas. And now the MFA goes to London. I missed out on that. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm here doing my thing in New York.
Doing your thing. Doing your thing.
Trying to make a little money, man. Trying to make a living. So
that's what's up. Yeah. So when you were at Pitt, and during the process, during your undergraduate career, did you have the chance to maybe audition for a job, any kind of job, or did you just focus on your academics and say, okay, I'm gonna get this done?
It was mostly all academic.
Okay.
Even and all of the plays that I did were for the university, the university theater department, until my senior year. And somebody told me that they were looking for somebody to do the National Pitt commercial. And so I auditioned for it, and I got it.
Wow!
I did I was in the Pitt commercial for the year of 2000. I guess the 2009-2010 Pitt commercial. And I remember I just said 3 words. I said "Hail to Pitt." At the end of the commercial, and it was a cool commercial. But I remember
it's probably more of a big deal at Pitt because now thinking about it, I did something like that for Duquesne, but I didn't know the magnitude then. All I did was smile. Actually, I didn't say anything.
the football games are at Heinz Field, which is where the Steelers play downtown. And so I remember it was the first Pitt game of the year that year, and one of my best friends, he was at the game, and he was like, I just saw you on the Megatron, like on the screen. And I was like, shut up.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so it's cool. And I got paid some money for it.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
And I was like, 3 words, and I made this amount of money.
And I stick with this.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. I got signed to a local talent agency in Pittsburgh after that.
Nice.
And
which one? I know one that's one in the South Side. No, the Strip District. I can't remember the name. There's one talent agency.
I was with, I believe they're called Talent Partners.
Oh, okay. Where's the office located?
I can't remember. I can't remember that. Now I feel bad because I don't even know if that's the right name.
Is that right? Well, whatever.
But yeah, they were great while I was with them. I did that with them. I did my first radio commercial with them, and I was a featured extra in a movie that I did through them.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Which was cool. Yeah.
That's great.
I was a featured extra in a movie called Warrior, where they filmed it in the Pete.
Okay.
It was a MMA movie.
Oh.
But that was, I did that for like a month during the summer between my junior and senior year.
Yeah.
And then, my senior year, I also did a play with Kuntu Repertory Theater.
Okay, yeah.
Which was
maybe I actually saw you in that play.
You might have.
Yeah, because I went to that play.
Yeah. Kuntu was I loved the woman who ran it. The company. I don't think it's no longer a company right now. Dr. Lily, but she taught me a lot and gave me a lot of advice and told me that Rutgers should definitely be a program I should look at.
Oh, okay. Great.
Which was a wonderful decision.
Nice.
Yeah.
So why I asked is because I've seen a few of my friends who went to, not my friends anymore, who went to school for, who had gone to school for acting. Usually, some of them ended up getting a job, maybe during their junior year, and they just abandoned their degree and went for the job.
Acting-wise.
Yeah, acting-wise. So, but in my mind, I'm thinking maybe for somebody like you who ended up going to grad school, I'm thinking maybe that was an option you didn't even entertain. So if something had come then, something that's maybe engaging, would you have left it? Would you have abandoned your paid degree?
I probably would have left.
Okay,
I mean, if it would have been, something worthwhile.
Yeah, well, something worthwhile. Okay.
Like a TV show.
Like a TV,
or a big role in a movie.
Okay.
Or I would have at least, done
Put it in
the thing and then came back to school.
Would you have come back?
Yeah. But I would have left.
Yeah.
I would have left to do the job.
Okay, great. I see.
Yeah.
I just wanna know. All right. So I have a question about MFA or theater.
Yeah.
Does everybody have to study Shakespeare, like in a theater program? Is it like the starting point that everybody's judged on?
It's not the starting point. No.
Okay.
No. I don't even know how to gauge what the starting point is. I think the starting point, like I said, was, at least in my program, was really figuring out yourself.
Okay.
Kind of peeling back the layers of who you are and seeing how vast we are as human beings.
Yes.
Because right now, like I am what we call pedestrian. I am my normal self.
Yes.
This is what I show to the world.
Yeah.
But I don't get to explore every day how passionate I can feel about a woman or it through character relationships or whatever that is. You don't get to explore the depths of your emotions.
Yeah.
We all kind of try to keep it reserved because if you walked around and followed every impulse that you have, you'd be in jail probably.
Exactly. True.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
But that's the first step in acting school. But along with that, you definitely have to start playing with Shakespeare's text.
I see.
And really trying to find your own way in because there are its own rhythms. I'm still working on figuring this out for myself, and I've been blessed to do some Shakespeare during school and out of school. But it's definitely something that you want to have as a tool to use when you get out into the professional world. So I think every program definitely works on Shakespeare. Also, Shakespeare is wonderful for developing your voice and your speech because it has to be so clear.
Yes.
You know, the words, the consonants, the vowels, everything has to be clear to tell the story and to really make the most of the language. The language is so beautiful. And if somebody's doing, like, you can tell when somebody's doing it right. Yeah. There's just something that just draws you in. Yeah. And then you can also feel when it's a little off. Yeah. When it's so you know, it's definitely something that's important in the MFA program. And now, like I said, my program goes to London to study at the Globe for a year. I wish I could have done that. Yeah, but I was really lucky to go to a summer program at the Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis. Okay. And I had a great Shakespeare teacher there named Andrew Wade, he's worked all over the world with Shakespeare. I mean, to the point where he asks you to bring a monologue in, and if you say a wrong word, he'll correct you because he knows the speech. Knows the stuff. And I'm like, whoa, you know? Gosh. And then after that, so he made me feel a lot more comfortable with it, and he was very patient with me because he could tell I was a little nervous and apprehensive coming to it. And then my third year, they brought in a teacher named Michael Sexton, who runs the Shakespeare Society here in New York, and he was also just wonderful. And those two experiences really gave me a foundation to kind of at least just feel more confident and in playing with the text and auditioning for the text. So yeah, it's been that's really cool. Shakespeare's a fun road to go down and see how you grow in it. Yeah, it's been a good journey. Wow. So far. Yeah. I hope I'm still growing. Wow. I got a lot more to learn. I'm learning
a lot from you.
Oh, no.
Okay. So from like having studied you a little bit, I see that your path now is still both stage and screen, you know. So was that what you had planned for, or was there a time when you wanted to just be a stage actor? I've seen certain things you've done. I've seen your work.
Well, I think I've
seen your reel, the one that says, "Wait a minute, did I hear that shit right?"
Well, that's I like that. I'm actually in the process. I just started. Okay. I just hired someone to make my reel. Okay. My first reel. Okay. But that's something that Rutgers offered. Okay. Coming out of school, just to have something on tape so somebody can see how you look and a little bit of acting, and then you get to say a little bit about yourself. Okay. But yeah, that's out there too. I like that. But you know, like the crazy thing about training here, I guess anywhere, is that if you go to an MFA program, you get some moments, you know, you maybe in your last year, you take an on-camera class. But for the most part, my training is a theatrical training.
I see.
Now, the issue with that is you can't necessarily come out of school and I'm not going to say you can't, but you have to be doing a certain degree of theater to make a living.
True.
Which is like Broadway, or like the biggest regional theaters, because those companies pay really well. But theater doesn't always pay a lot of money, and so for me, because I didn't know necessarily what I wanted to do coming out of school, I just knew I wanted to work. Okay, that was my goal. Yes, meaning I want to do everything that I'm capable of doing. And I've been very lucky to say that the only thing I've done short films, but I haven't really cracked
commercials.
I've done. I just actually shot one of my very first commercial, professional commercial outside of the Pitt one.
Congrats!
Thank you. I shot that maybe like a month and a half ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So nice. I do that. Yeah. I do voiceover work. Okay. I haven't really done any major films, but I've been on a couple TV shows, which has been a blessing too. So, and done some theater.
That's great. Yeah, it's so funny when people say, whenever they talk to actors, they always say the person was discovered, or they say this is the breakout role. Meanwhile, the person has been breaking out gradually for years and years. So I'm talking about maybe next year, if we see you like in a big ass movie like that, people will be like, "Oh, Ruffin, he just came to New York and just got his got a big move," not knowing that you've been doing a lot, you've been putting a lot in to
every
get
now and then somebody does get discovered.
True though. True.
And and you'll see it in the way that they're auditioning people.
Okay.
They'll have huge casting calls just looking for one specific person, and this person might have some acting experience or might not, but if they're the person
right
they're looking for to tell the story,
they take the person.
Yeah, they take them, So every now and then it happens. But if I were to get in something huge, I would be like, where did he come from? Because I haven't done any. It's not like, well, no, I do feel like I'm slowly walking up the stairs.
That's what I'm saying.
But
you
it
didn't
would
just
seem like,
show up and get it,
Right. I made some investment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you went just going to school for it, going to grad school for it.
And having those loans.
Yes. Tell me about it. Yeah. Okay. I want to come back to grad school. Like you talked about the lady that ran is it Kuntu Repertory?
Oh, Dr. Lily.
Dr. Lily, how she told you could also teach after the broadcast degree. Is that something you've considered? Like, for instance, being an artist in residence or something like that? There's something called artist in residence, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, a lot of universities they just call it teaching artist work.
Oh, okay.
Where they'll hire professional teaching artists.
Yeah.
And you can you're teaching,
Yeah.
but you're also allowed to be in the shows at the school
Oh, okay.
and things like that. And also audition
Yeah.
wherever you are.
Yeah.
And I remember we had a bunch of not a bunch, but a few. One of my close, I guess, mentors from Pitt. She was a teaching artist, and she taught me a couple classes at Pitt. And we also did shows together at Pitt.
Nice.
And she's another woman. Her name is Elena. She's a wonderful, wonderful soul.
Great.
But she really helped me gauge. She's the one who put me on to grad school in general. And Dr. Lily was like, these are the schools you need to try to go to. Because she knows what schools are going to really, once you hit the pavement, having that name behind you is going to really boost you up.
That's great.
But yeah, I've definitely thought about being a teaching artist. And, to a certain degree, I've done it. While I was at Rutgers, I was lucky enough to teach there during my MFA. I taught 2 acting classes.
Oh, nice.
And then I haven't necessarily taught since I've been out of school, but what I did do a program. I was doing a production of Measure for Measure.
I don't know.
It's Shakespeare.
Shakespeare, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was playing.
I know like 12th Night and
I did 12th Night out of school too. But Measure for Measure, I did it with a company here in New York called Epic Theater Ensemble. And they're a wonderful company that works with high school and middle school students.
Nice.
And what you do is, so they put on a production, they kind of adapt it and make it just small adaptations, and to the script, and they make it, we find ways to make it hip for the kids. And then we go into schools and we give them like some schools get like a full like 2-week residency, and then other schools get like a 2-day residency. But we're preparing them to come see the show, because it's hard for it's hard to get ready to see the language. And I remember how I was in high school. I did not enjoy reading Shakespeare. I had a hard time reading it out loud. I would always be so self-conscious about it, about doing it wrong. And so I wanted, they do this to make the kids feel more comfortable with the language before they come see the show. I got amazing. That was fun. I was teaching again because I would go to different high schools and get them ready. I'd have 2 days with each class that I was teaching, and just get them ready to see the show, and we play games. And it was a lot of fun to teach again. And but right now where I'm at, it's definitely an option, as far as obviously you got to make some money to live here in New York.
Of course.
But right now I'm praying. I've also been very blessed with one. My family supports me all the time. So if it's really dry to the bone, you know, they got my back 100%.
That's really good.
Which is wonderful. Yeah. But I've been blessed with work that has kept me afloat.
That's great. Let's talk about a few of those work. Okay. Let's talk about Orange Bright.
Yeah.
How I knew about that was that the writer of the show asked me to do he asked me late actually to do the soundtrack. They had like a placeholder soundtrack, and when I was watching it, I'm like, I saw the name Ruffin Prentiss. I'm like, I know this guy from somewhere. So I'm like, then I went to my Facebook. I said, okay, this must be the same Ruffin that I'm Facebook friends with. And that was when I really, really said, okay, I really had to get this guy on my podcast.
Well, Orange Bright is the second short film that I've worked on here in the city.
Okay.
And it was something that I submitted myself for.
Okay.
And came in and auditioned, and I guess Riley really liked what I was working with. Riley Wilson wrote a novella and turned it into a short film. And so we started working on it. Was a long time in the making. We were supposed to shoot it beforehand.
Yeah.
And then that got pushed back. And Riley was wearing a lot of hats. Riley was the director, he was the writer, and he was playing the main character. So he had a lot of things going on, but I was just glad to be there. And I had no clue, how it was going to turn out. The DP, the director of photography, he was wonderful shooting the film. His name was Spike. But yeah, he was great. And, we got to shoot on this rooftop of this gorgeous apartment building in Harlem. And the sun was out. It was a clear sunny day. We've had some winter days, so I'm looking forward to more summer days like that soon. But it was a summer day, man. And we went out there and knocked it out.
That's great.
And as far it was just Riley is not a trained actor, but I thought he did a great job.
He did well.
And we would talk about the scenes, and we would just go into it and just try to connect. And that's really all you can do as an actor. That's what acting is.
Yes.
Is reacting. So you do something, I'm going to react.
Yeah, I see.
And as long as we're reacting off of each other, that's what great. Makes the scene. So I was just being present.
Nice.
Bringing whatever tools that I have to what we were filming, man.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I saw it and I really liked it. Like I said before, I liked your character, how you played it. It wasn't, you just played it well.
Film is tough because you don't know how big you can be sometimes.
Yes. Now, that's one other thing I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
The difference between stage and film, or between stage and TV.
Now, some people will say there's no difference. I think there's a difference when it comes to the process of how it happens.
Yeah,
there's a huge difference there. But I think when it comes to acting, like when you finally get to the moment of acting, it's all the same.
It's all the same,
except for. Well, no, it's pretty much all the same.
Okay.
You got to hit your marks.
Okay.
You got to know where you're traveling. You do the physical business.
Yes.
And you still have to be in relationship with the person that you're acting with.
That's great.
And understand what the circumstance is that's brought you to this moment where you're, flustered or whatever.
Yeah.
But the process, with theater, you get a rehearsal process.
Yes.
Which is like, it can be anywhere from 2.5 to 5 weeks where you're just rehearsing the play over and over and over and over. So you kind of get it really under your feet. And theater also, when you perform, you know your character is starting here and your character gets to linearly go all the way through the journey of the play.
Yeah.
Whereas with television and film, things aren't always shot in order.
Yeah.
And so you have to remember where you are in the story first of all. How that affects everything that's happening because relationships change.
Yes.
and like through a play, in a play, when you're doing theater, it's easier for you to understand. Like, you don't have to work so hard to get to where you're going.
Yeah.
Because the moments just carry you there. Yeah. Everything builds on itself to get you to, say, the emotional climax of the play. But with television, it's like, okay, we shot the first scene today, we're going to shoot the climax tomorrow. And all of a sudden, and like, you haven't had the full journey.
I see.
And so you've got to do your homework and come in ready to do it. Also with television, it's a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yes.
So like they call you to set, you get to go to your trailer for a little bit, you're sitting in your trailer. Then they're like, okay, so we're actually, it's like 5 a.m. while you're in your set. And they're like, okay, so do you want breakfast? They bring you breakfast. Yeah.
And how much rehearsals do people end up getting for?
It's not a lot. Oh, wow. At least from what I've experienced. Yeah. Rehearsal, it basically happens like this. You get to set, you get your breakfast. Yeah. Sometimes you don't get to eat it. You get to set, you go to hair and makeup. Yeah. You go to wardrobe, you get all that stuff settled. Then you got to get in your wardrobe. And then they're like, okay, time to rehearse. So you go down, you rehearse. Yeah. Once you rehearse, they set up the shot. They've made all the marks for where you should stand and where you should move. And then probably, depending on what else they have to set up. Yeah. 30 minutes to an hour later, you're shooting. Wow. But it's not, you don't have that 2.5 to 5 weeks
of rehearsal for stage. But then for stage, you can't do it again. No, you can say, let's try it again.
They're both wonderful in that way, because you get a lot of shots in television. Not always. Television is fast. They got to get things done on a certain time schedule. So you do get a chance to find your best take. Yeah. Which is wonderful, or your best angle, whatever they want to use. But with theater, it's also beautiful because you have to realize whatever's happening in this moment, for you, for the audience, for anyone in this room at this moment, it's only happening once. Yes. And then the next night, something slightly different, or slightly the same, or it's gorgeous to know that art is created, and it lives through the memory of only those people who were there that night.
I like that.
It's gorgeous. That. Yeah, it's a gorgeous thing.
Yeah, as a performer, I like that. Yeah. As a musician, I really just like live stuff. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about recursion. Talk about that.
So that was the.
I saw that on your Instagram, your Twitter, because I follow you on Twitter.
Yeah. Recursion is a cool film, a cool short film that I just stumbled upon. I submitted myself for it, and I didn't really know who these people were. I should have did my research. And I have an agent, which it's wonderful to have them. They submit me for things. Nice. But this I had submitted for myself, just trying to find some stuff to get experience in front of a camera. Yeah. And I didn't research who the director was, who the producers were. But these are like real people. Sam, the director, he's done Broadway. Wow. He's been a director on Broadway. He's done theater all over the country. He's all overseas, internationally. He's a wonderful, brilliant man. Nice. And the producer, he's like one of the youngest Broadway producers working right now. It's just amazing. So he was on the project, and then the guy who played the lead, he was nominated for a Tony Award. And I find all this out after the audition, which probably helped me because there was like no pressure. I was like, pressure. Oh, this will just be something fun. And I ended up booking it, and they had a real budget, they had real equipment, and they rented out actual. The film is about a guy I played the groom. Yes, he's getting married, and my best friend is supposed to bring the ring, but a lot of things happen between the ring making it to the wedding. Yeah, but they rented out an actual wedding venue. Yes, and set it up, and they really went full out. And it was the first time I had been shooting something and there were extras there.
Oh,
I'd never, and I was like, this is a little bit of pressure. This is like, because these people, like people are looking like, who is he? Like,
Yes,
and I'm like, who am I? It's a good
This is on
question. I don't know who I am. Yeah,
I like it.
But it was a great experience.
Nice.
The film won a lot of awards across the country.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing was that it got entered into the Richmond International Film Festival.
Where you're from?
And where I'm from. And I didn't get to go down to see it there.
Yeah.
But all of my family got to go see my face on the big screen for
how
the
does
first
that
time.
feel?
I don't know how it feels, but I mean,
but them calling you and telling you, like from family.
It was and they, like I said, my family is my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I stand on God and I stand on them, and God bless me with them.
That's great.
Obviously,
that's
and
great.
they are they just support me to the nth degree, man. It's just all love,
that.
and so they all came out. I think like 30 people went to this place to see this film. My grandmothers, but it's the first time they saw me on the big screen.
That's nice.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
Something I'm really proud of.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I'm proud of that too.
Yeah, thank you.
Because I was watching the movie, I'm like, okay, this is legit. This is on point. Yeah,
it's and it's one of those movies that you got to watch a couple times.
I was
to
gonna
understand
say that.
everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I feel good because I didn't want to make any comment because I was gonna tell you that I watched it once and I was just watching it the second time when you came in. So I'm trying to get everything, and I didn't want to tell you that because I don't know if you would believe that I didn't get everything the first time. Well, so that's the cool thing about that movie, a movie that's gonna make you watch it again. I like such movies.
Gonna make it recur.
Yeah, recur. Nice recursion. Yeah. Let's talk about. I don't know how much you can say about this, Madam Secretary.
Working on Madam Sec.
Yeah.
I just had a small. I shot 2 episodes. And it was a small co-star, recurring co-star as a bartender named Barry.
Okay.
But yeah, I had a great time on Madam Sec.
Nice.
The cool thing about Madam Secretary is a lot of the series regulars come from theater backgrounds.
Okay.
And so it's just nice to like pick their brains about how, their process to getting where they are right now and the journey, and knowing that we all start in this place of like, how's this going to work out?
Yes.
Sometimes the gigs are sparse.
Yeah.
And just knowing that it's encouraging to see that if you stick with it and you keep working on your craft and you keep trying to get better and making connections but ultimately being a good person and having an open heart.
Yes.
That the opportunities come to good people.
It's gonna come.
Yeah. So that was a wonderful experience, Madam Sec. It was actually I shot the first episode of Madam Sec. I should say the full thing, Madam Secretary.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's shortened that.
It's on ABC.
It's on CBS.
CBS. Because I don't have cable. I have Hulu Plus and I have Netflix, and I basically get almost everything.
Right.
But then I just discovered that CBS is not on Hulu Plus. Yeah. It's on Amazon, and
CBS has. You can also get a subscription on CBS.
Okay.
It's like $5 a month for to watch CBS live.
I see.
But yeah, that's
becoming the new thing, right?
I mean, they got to make their money.
Yeah.
The internet is such a fascinating thing, especially in the world of acting right now, because it's creating so many different opportunities.
Yeah.
And the networks, with new things, everyone's trying to figure out how do we build this? How do we finance this and make money from it? So they're slowly starting to, $5 a month for your subscription.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that by the time it's gonna all add up and become more expensive than the cable itself, because people, I think that one of their reasons they claim, like HBO has HBO, I think HBO Go or whatever.
Yeah, HBO Go.
Yeah, and other other stations have their thing also. And one of the argument for that is that people can now just choose what they want to watch. but it seems like at the end it's going to add up and become more expensive than the 100 channels that you get to watch only 3 out of, because if you pay $5 for HBO, pay $5 for CBS, pay $5 for ABC, I mean, it's like,
yeah, but I think you might be paying a little bit more for HBO through a cable company.
Oh, true though. True, you have a point.
If you're just doing it through the internet, if you're trying to save money, don't get me wrong. If I could afford cable, I would have it. Or satellite or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm not making any. I'm not selling anything. But I would definitely, have that. But I also just have internet and have Netflix, and you just make it work.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But Madam Sack was the first. That was the first time I got to say words on television.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah, it was cool.
How does that feel? Like I'm saying this because I know, like, people don't know how tough the game is. Even though I'm not an actor, I can appreciate it. So, I'm like, from your family point of view, you're close to your family. When they called, I'm sure they watched it, at least one of the episodes you were on.
Yeah.
They called you and they talked to you. They said, "Oh, we saw you on TV." Maybe even if it was for 5 seconds or 4.
Right.
And what are the things? What did your mom say?
What did my mom say? I guess.
Or she's just one of those cool people like, "I saw you on TV."
It's just like good job.
Good job. Nice.
I really thought you were a bartender.
That's good.
Which is my job. In that situation.
Yes, that's great.
But yeah,
that's your second time playing. But I guess on Orange Bright, you kind of played
a waiter.
A waiter too.
Okay.
Okay.
Orange Bright, I was a waiter.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. I want to get a little bit deeper.
Okay.
All right. Let's a little bit philosophical. Now, like I was saying, arts can be difficult. That's one of the things I wanted to highlight on this podcast, that the journey towards being an artist is not an easy one, and that you really have to work hard. You really have to work hard to make it, and you really have to have this spirit, this resilient spirit, to survive in it, in any kind of artistic creation, like a artistic profession, So I'm sure you've encountered some disappointments as an actor. How do you deal with them? And you don't have to tell us of any of them, but if you can maybe talk about one of them and tell me how you deal with it daily, because it's rejection, like you were saying. You could be the most studied actor, you could be the most you could have your MFA, but if they want somebody off the street that just has the look they want, they will
or they are the person.
Yes,
that's really a lot of, at least coming out. You have to be pretty. I think acting goes a long ways. You have to have a certain look, of course, but like, they wrote this character in mind.
Okay.
And if you are that person, it's much easier for them to be like, "Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's who I was looking for. They are. They are that person." And then that opens up the door for you to do a wider range of things. But talking about rejection, you get a lot of no's.
Yes,
but you don't get them to your face. You just don't hear back at all.
Oh, you don't hear back,
which is,
Do you think that's better?
I think it's better when it's so auditioning has different steps. So there's the initial audition, and then there are callbacks.
Yes.
And sometimes there are multiple callbacks. When you have multiple callbacks, it's tough. Because once you get a call, like, you audition for something, you just say, "I'm going to go in there, I'm going to do what I do best.
Yes.
I'm going to bring myself to it. I'm going to give them my interpretation of this role, and I'm going to go on about my day."
Yes.
But when you get a call back, something goes off in your brain, and you're like, "Oh, maybe I can book this.
Yes.
And so you kind of get excited about it or anxious about it. One experience that I had, I was auditioning for this play Fences by August Wilson.
Yeah.
And Felicia Rashad, Miss Felicia Rashad. She was directing the production. It was a co-production, and I've always wanted to do that play, but wanted to play the son Corey. So that's the role I was going in for. I was excited for it. I poured my heart out in the first audition, and I got a call back. Oh, sorry. Yeah. But yeah, I gave a great audition. I was so committed that I didn't even know what happened in the room. I was just like, I don't know if that was good or bad, but I did the best I could. And I got a call back, and I was like, I could book this thing, and it was something I really, really wanted. And the callback went really well, but I didn't get it.
Oh.
And I ended up getting another play.
Yeah.
I found out that I got offered the role for another play right after I did found. So this is what I found is that one, the industry is constant. As many no's as you're going to get, the next audition is going to pop up the next day. So there's really no time to be upset about it. If you live in each no that you get, you'll have no time for finding your success. Also, what I found is that things always seem to work out for you. And if it's yours, it literally happens for you. Yeah. And so, you might not get a job, and then you look back, to maybe 6 months, maybe 6 months have passed now, and you look back and you're like, oh, if I would have got that, I wouldn't have booked this TV show. True. And so Fences being an example, if I would have did Fences, I wouldn't have been on Power.
You were on Power too.
I was on Power, which was the first TV thing I ever did.
Nice.
And I would have been out of town. I wouldn't have been able to be in that show. Nice. And it's just amazing to kind of look back and be like, oh, that wasn't for me. Exactly. What was meant for me was it happened. Yes. And so it's just, that's kind of how I view it, is that I'm going to always give my best. Yes. I'm going to always bring my artistry and my creativity to what I have in front of me as an audition. And then if it happens for me, then it was meant for me. And I always believe that it also helps you deal with watching friends and or people who you just know, who you're acquaintances with, have success. Yes. It helps you understand that it's okay to celebrate that for them. True. Because that was for them. That was wonderful. True. And they are doing their thing. Yeah. And it's encouraging. It's encouraging to know that, oh, you just booked that? Yeah. It's possible to book something like that. And it's very easy to fall into the mindset of they took that from me. Yeah. And that's not, but there's something about art to me that is so giving, especially being an actor. You have to pour from yourself to really do this fully and truthfully and reach someone. You have to pour from yourself. And if you take that mindset away when dealing with the business, then I think you'll just always be negative. You won't have anything positive coming to you. So you got to find the love of, oh, you got that, you go kill that thing. You go book that.
That's great. That's well put.
And that way, and you pray that whoever saw you encourage that day, that when it's your turn, they encourage you the same way. And that's where community comes into place. And just, as long as the art's being made, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And even a rejection could be part of the process too, could lead. Going there and auditioning is something. Right. It's like it counts, even though you might not be able to put it in your resume and say, I auditioned and I didn't get it. I don't know if you guys could put it, but I believe it's part of it's part of, you've been seen by somebody, by a casting director, does that make sense?
Well, this is also the thing is my mentor told me this when I got out of school. He was like, our job is to go in and give you want to give a great audition, but to go in and give good auditions every time, your job is to be consistent.
Nice.
And what consistency does is allows whoever that casting director is, or that director, or that playwright to say, that guy's good. He's not right for this role, but I've got this play coming up, or I've got this TV show coming up, and I know this role. I'm going to bring him back in for that.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that no is really temporary.
Yeah.
Or that no
is not.
It's just not a no.
Yes.
It's more of a, this wasn't for you, but I see you. You're good.
Nice.
I appreciate what you brought to this. And it's going to work itself out in the future.
I see.
You know?
Yeah, that's a much better way of articulating what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Great. No. Yeah. Okay. So I've been listening to you.
Yep.
And there are a few terms that I've been wondering about, and I'm sure a lot of people have been wondering it. I feel like you're the perfect person to tell us what these terms mean.
I hope I am.
I'm going to quiz you. Quiz you on your profession.
This is an actor quiz?
Yeah, actor quiz.
Okay.
So, and feel free to just tell me that doesn't make any sense, or tell me I don't know what it is. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, but I'm trying to know. Okay. What's the Adler method?
Say that again?
Stella Adler.
Oh, Stella Adler.
Yeah, the Adler method. Is that the Adler way of acting? The approach to acting?
It's a technique.
A technique.
Yeah.
Technique.
I didn't study Stella Adler.
Okay. Well, is it taught in school, or is it just...
There's a studio here called the Stella Adler Studio.
Okay, so is it taught in... would a graduate program like Rutgers teach the Stella Adler technique?
Rutgers is a Meisner-based program.
Oh, okay, Meisner. That's another one.
Sanford Meisner-based program.
Now, because I think the techniques you've been describing have all been Meisner, like the reacting.
Yeah, Meisner is very much... I can only... My vocabulary for acting is very much based on my training.
Okay.
And Meisner has a very specific vocabulary.
Okay. So maybe tell us about Meisner. About the Meisner, like in a sentence or two. You don't have to tell us about something that took you 3 years to study.
The basic premise is being truthful in imaginary circumstances.
I see.
That's what acting is.
Yeah.
Is telling the truth in imaginary circumstances. So Meisner starts with very basic things of just like doing an activity in front on a stage.
Yeah.
And so like say you come home.
Yeah.
And you've got to get ready for a party. So what do? There are certain steps that you do that are truthful.
Yeah.
Which would be, you got to clean up your facial hair. You got to iron your clothes, X, Y, and Z. So you're really doing this activity.
Yeah.
And that's where Meisner starts.
Okay.
It just starts with being truthful in a room.
I see.
And then you start adding... that's why I went to Rutgers, is because at the University of Pittsburgh, I kind of got different... techniques and approaches, kind of all in like a hodgepodge, I guess you call it, like all mixed together.
Yeah.
But I wanted something very specific, steps to learn how to act.
Okay.
And Meisner created a 2-year program that outlines, it keeps adding on things that you would find in your work.
I see.
That you need to search for and make specific. So you start with being truthful in a room, then all of a sudden you add time, circumstance. So you add time, a consequence, and meaning.
Nice.
Those are the three things you add to the activity that you're doing. So now, say it's heartfelt, like you want to raise money for I'm just creating a circumstance. You want to raise money for a sick cousin in the hospital.
Right.
And so you're doing this activity, you're practicing for this competition,
right,
or whatever it is in your room. So you're truthfully doing that, but now there's something behind it because there's a deep meaning.
I see.
Of what that cousin means to you, how sick they are, how urgent this money is. They need it for surgery.
And you have to carry all those things.
You carry all this. So but by starting at the basic level, now you know how to tell the truth in a room. Now you add on a circumstance. So that creates whatever. Then the next step is, these aren't necessarily in order.
Yeah.
But the next step is adding on a relationship. So adding another person to the room.
Yes.
And so step by step, you're learning how to take on everything that encompasses acting.
I see. Okay.
But you're creating it yourself, which is wonderful.
Okay.
So you kind of learn how to be your own storyteller. And then you get handed a script and you're like, oh, wow, they've laid out the storytelling for me. I just need to, I know how to tell the truth in this circumstance now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about Adler method? The Adler technique?
I really don't know anything about the technique specifically. Yeah. But they all came from, it's called the group theater. Yeah. And they studied Stanislavski.
Closer, yeah.
And then they studied Stanislavski and they came over and it was the group theater. Yeah. And everybody was working there and all of a sudden they all had different ideas about certain things, about whether using personal stuff or how to get into acting. And so some of them branched off and created their own methods.
How about method?
So
the method technique. That's a technique, right?
Method acting.
Method acting, yeah.
It's just somebody, I don't want to, maybe I won't say the name of the actor, but somebody tells a story about two actors being on set.
Oh, okay.
One actor had to be really tired in the scene. And so they stayed up all night. And before they shot it, they went running. Yeah. So that they were extremely exhausted. Yeah. And when it gets to set, he's like dead tired. And the other actor looks at him and he says, why don't you just try acting? But that's method. Yeah. Method is when you are doing it.
Okay.
You're doing what needs to be done, what's being asked of you, instead of
I see. Wow.
Portraying it. And,
wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Another term I want to ask you, which is single camera. What's the difference between single camera and multi-camera?
Oh, well, I mean, so I shot The Mysteries of Laura.
That's single camera, right?
It's two cameras. That's just how many cameras are running while you're shooting the scene.
Okay.
So, it's either single cam or multi-cam.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's three cameras, but they'll just have different angles running at the same time. Okay. They'll have a camera A, camera B, and when you're watching it behind the scenes, both of them will be right there, but they're just from different angles.
I see.
And they run both of them, so you don't have to change the angle.
Okay.
Because turning around the set takes a lot of energy and a lot of time.
I see.
And if you had to turn it around with one camera each time, it would just be time consuming.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Another one, call sheet.
A call sheet?
Yeah.
So you get the call sheet comes out like the night before. Okay. For at least for television. Yeah. And it comes out based on what time they wrapped the night before. Yeah. And the call sheet it has where you're going. Yeah. It has everybody's names on it. The director, all the grips, all the electricians, everybody's name is on it. Everybody has a time. And it's just basically helping you get get where you need to go, and it tells you what scenes you're shooting first. Okay. So you know which scene to prepare first. I see.
Nice.
So
okay. The last one, craft services.
Craft services. That's where you get your food.
Okay. Why is it called craft? Is it like the company that?
I actually have no clue. Okay. But yeah, so craft services. There's always, wherever the set location is, there's always I I guess you call them like a tent.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have it set up, and they'll always have, like just simple stuff like fruit, nuts, juice, water, coffee, all that stuff will be there. Like that's craft services. You can go there in between takes, depending on how much time you have, and nibble on something if you're really hungry. Or a PA will go get something from craft services. But they also do the meals. They do the lunch that you get if you're there for that long of a time. Yeah. But yeah, craft services hooks it up.
Nice. Man. I'm learning a lot. Like I said. Okay. Now, this is the time for your no you didn't moment. I call it NYD.
NYD.
No, you didn't.
Does this have to be about art?
It doesn't have. It could just be about anything at all. Yeah. It doesn't have to be about art.
No, you didn't. Explain. No, you didn't.
Okay,
again.
just something that you did that's embarrassing, or some situation that was like really embarrassing. Maybe you went out on your birthday and you got really drunk and you puked everywhere. You puked on the table at the restaurant, and people were like, and you're telling the story, and somebody's like, oh, "No, you didn't."
I won't tell that one. What I will tell is...
you have the drinking story?
No, I won't tell that one. What I will tell... so my freshman year of college, I was dating this girl.
This would be fun.
Most of my embarrassing stories have to deal with women.
Yeah.
I was dating this girl. She was my high school sweetheart. And... I kind of liked this girl who was at Pitt. Yeah. And I liked her. And so me and my girlfriend at the time had been fighting. And we're so young.
Yeah.
And I'm like 18 at the time. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. So I'm like, I want to go on a break. And so we go on a break, and I start trying to see this girl. Yeah. And then my girlfriend from home.
Is the girl in theater too?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay. My girlfriend from home, she just decided to come up to Pitt.
Oh shit.
And I disappeared from the other girl. Like I didn't talk to her at all.
Okay.
And so afterwards, I can't believe I'm telling this story. Afterwards, I had to explain myself to the girl, and she was so hurt. And of course, looking at it now, I was a jerk, man. Stupid. Yeah. But it's the stupid things you do when you're young and you don't know any better. Yeah. And so she was so upset, and she ended up. We had mutual friends, and she wrote this message on Facebook.
Oh my gosh!
With the Beyonce "Irreplaceable" lyrics.
She went all creative with it.
She wrote a message and just tagged only our mutual friends to it.
Oh my God.
Beyonce Irreplaceable lyrics. I can't hear the song without thinking about
your
that
situation.
And I guess that's why Beyonce wrote it. But it was so crazy to see like how all of the girls who I thought were my friends too were like, forget him. It was all that basically. And my boys had my back, and it was just So, but when those lyrics went up, and I saw how people were posting to it, I was embarrassed for sure. Yeah,
that's a good story.
I felt like a real bad guy.
Oh my God!
Yeah, you live and you learn. You try to
it's college.
Yeah,
it's college. That's where you go to discover yourself. Where you go to make mistakes and hopefully correct them later on.
Right, later in life. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been fun. Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
All right, great. So, do you want to tell us how we can know more about you or follow you? And I'll put everything on the website. You send me everything, including a picture, and I'll put it on the website too.
I don't really have. I just have social media. I don't have a website.
Okay. We need to get your website.
I'm on. Yeah, that's next on the list. Like I said, I'm working on that reel right now. So when that's done, I'm gonna put it on YouTube and Vimeo.
Okay. Okay, great.
But you can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter.
All right.
R Prentiss III.
Okay.
The third. Follow me there. Or I'm actually doing a play coming up. It's called Gordy Crashes.
When is that?
It's at IRT Theater. and it's downtown on Christopher Street.
Okay.
So come check that out. That'll be in like a month.
That'll be in West Village?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, come check that out. It's a comedy. It'll be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. Later.
Suddenly, life has more meaning. No more nightmares. I'm no longer dreaming of the one who will share my last name. An umbrella for when it rains. I derive pleasure just from listening to your voice when we're reasoning together. You and I, forever. You and I. Ooh, your love is just a killing me, yo. You brutalize me with your beauty, yo. Your love is just a killing me, yo. Man waste time, they give woman elect. One born Chris again. That's how our people talk. It is in the calabash. More pan wine. Love ain't blind, 'cause I see and I see you and I. For eternity, my sunshine. My brain just they scatter, they go. If I no see you, it go make me go low. Your love is just a killing me, yo. You brutalize me with your beauty, yo. Your love is just a killing me, go. In the calabash, more I no go rush you, I no be Russian. Before we jam things like we be Germans. No hunger, baby, I'm not from Hungary. I no divorce you, I be African man. Your love is just killing me. Oh, you brutalize me with your beauty.
Your love is just a killing me, yo. You brutalize me with your beauty, yo. Your love is just a killing me, yo.
Science and the carry kill mosquito wey sit down for block cause. It is still in the calabash. More pan wine. More pan wine. Oh, my baby, sugar my baby, oh more pan wine, baby. I need more pan wine, baby. I want more pan wine, baby. I want your pan wine, give me some my baby. What is the my baby, sugar my baby, more pan wine, baby. Your love is